Good day, welcome to C&T Collectibles. I am C. Hope everybody had a terrific weekend. It's Monday. It's time to get back to work here. So we'll start it off with 3 up and 3 down, where we look at the top 3 risers and fallers in baseball card land over the previous week, and then we'll hop over to StarStock and look at a few players that did well on the actual diamond and see what, if anything, we should be doing with their cards. So, all right, we're in the collectibles part of the room here. So I've got the kids home from break and some people doing work upstairs. So this is about the only quiet spot in the house, and I needed a quick breather here. So, so for those of you who are new, there is a method to the madness here. Whenever you see these trending up and trending down videos, there's a purpose for it, whether you know it or not. So if you're into this for short-term trading, flipping purposes, volatility is your best friend, and cards that move triple digits over the course of a couple of days, those are where you're going to see your best returns over a short period of time potentially. So it's important to look at those. Now, if you just see videos of cards going up, there's not much you can do on those. If you already own those cards, they might be worth a sell, but since we're not able to short cards as of yet, the ones that are falling the most are presenting the best opportunity, most likely to buy. And so we'll start it off with our number 3 faller, and that is Ronald Acuna Jr. The base PSA 10 is Bowman Chrome Prospects, and you can see you had this compression pattern. You have your line of support, and we've seen this in a few other cards, mostly some basketball, but as the sellers come in quicker and quicker, that usually leads to a downdraft and a break of that support line. Not always, so you want to be patient and wait for a break either way, but just to be on the safe side, you sell in these compressions here, because more often than not, they're going to break down here. And so I brought it to a level of previous support here where we've seen some buying pick up here. So I'd keep a keen eye on this card here. It's been a pretty decent drop from a high price of $250 to currently just under $100, and you could see a decent pop here. There's been a lot of buying in this area, so at this point right here, a lot of these people might say, hey, what a deal. So anyways, down 41% for the week, and again, those sellers are the ones that tend to look the most interesting. All right, our number 3 riser of the week, up 89%, Bobby Witt Jr., who is having himself this is the PSA 9 Prospects Chrome, or excuse me, the BGS9. So, at this level of support where there's been a little bit of buying, pretty thinly traded, so it's difficult to say, one way or another what's really going to happen here. But people really like this, looks like $30 area, and got a really nice pop up of that. So up about 90% for the week, still cheap. I think this is a player. He's looking really good. So if the Royals don't screw him up, well, ideally, what do they do? Call him up and trade him in a few years or something like that, and then he can really do well. But yeah, absolutely have a keen eye on this one. Now that's a big move, but still at a low dollar level. It doesn't take much to push something up from $30 to $50, and people aren't going to think too hard on that one here. So it could continue to rise, but if it came back a little bit to this $40 area, keep a keen eye on that one. That's going to be one of your bigger names to come up. Look at what's going on with how much hype there is around Wander and everything like that. This is your next one. So, all right, our number 2 faller for the week is Jason Dominguez, down 48% for the week here. And so he's been trending down for a while here. You kind of had your support level above $90 here. This is the Mega Box, the Mojo Refractor in a raw form. So above 90 was kind of your line in the sand. High price of $200. So yeah, that was right in here, and you're still sitting up pretty high. So I mean, that is a wide range. But yeah, it's been kind of trending down. It's been pretty volatile, but that moves down. That's a pretty big move down here. So last price is $48. Pretty good line in the sand here around that $37-40 level here. So I think you're getting close to an area where it's gonna be a while before we see Jason Dominguez. But if he is what he's cracked up to be, then this is probably getting into an area where it's at least pretty darn interesting. So, all right, our number 2 riser for the week is Jose Canseco, the 1986 Topps traded in a PSA 9. So, I don't know what he did. What did he do recently? Did he sign with another team, maybe? I don't know. So, big move here. Bottom of the range, top of the range. Selling has taken place here in the past. So, after a 90% move, one person pushing that all the way up. If this is a card you've been looking to get rid of, maybe this is the time. I don't know. I'm just a collector. I just hang on. So easier that way, I guess. So all right, our number 1 faller for the week here. I don't know. I'll edit it in afterwards. So yeah, our number 1 faller for the week, Hall of Famer Larry Walker, down 55%. So top of the range, bottom of the range. There you go. So again, these falls, these fallers tend to present the best opportunity, especially if you're really into graded junk wax. All right, our number one riser for the week, Juan Soto. There we go, 146% for the Bowman's Best base in a PSA 10, ripping from the $70 area up to $177. So, in this kind of goes back to the Acuna we looked at first. It came back into an area where there's been some support and buying, and it just absolutely ripped. Not saying Acuna is the next one to rip by any stretch here, but we look at Soto pretty often, and he's come into an area where it does look like some buying should start to pick up. And so not this, I didn't predict that, but it looks like, people have kind of had enough. He's, showing that, he's healthy. He's playing at a pretty decent level, pretty high level, actually. Not what he did last year, but at a high level, and at 22 years old. Again, should be one of the darlings of the league. And this one sale, at least, sort of confirms that. So, all right, let's hop over to StarStock and look at a few players of the week here. See if I can do that. Yeah, all right. 1 second. I'll move myself over. There you go. Get out of the way, Chad. So, all right. Let's start with Fangraphs. Then we just take a look at their StarStock, see if there's anything we should be doing with it. So, Zach Davies had himself quite a week here. He had a couple of wins, 12 innings pitched, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 10 strikeouts, and really 7 of his last nine starts have been pretty excellent. He started off the season a bit rough, but he's turned on the gas over the last number of starts. And so he's 28 years old. What are we doing here? We want the season stats. Yeah. So you can see here his last few starts. He had kind of a stinker here, but a quality start in this. Well, not a quality start because he only went 5 innings. But the beginning of the year was pretty rough. But the last, again, the last 9 starts been pretty good. So you can see that he's got about 10 wins to his name. 28 years old. He really hasn't had these huge seasons or anything like that. So not anything I would do with him, at least longer term. You can see his prices on StarStock sitting around 80 cents. So we won't spend a whole lot of time on Zach Davies. But if you like him, again, put him in your trading basket at best. All right, moving on to Mr. Robbie Ray, who's just been really pretty excellent this year. So he had a win, 12 innings pitched, 9 hits, 4 earned runs, 23 strikeouts. And you can see over his past few games here, that strikeout per 9 is just at an insane number, and he's been at a pretty high level all year here. So we'll look at his season stats here. Eventually, I promise we'll do it. Oh, yeah, we got it. Internet's fast in this back room. Not bad here. Pretty nice strikeout per 9, but his walks have fallen off a cliff. So this is perhaps a changed pitcher here. So if he's not walking but he's striking out, that's a pretty big deal here. BABIP is fair. He's getting a little bit, perhaps a little bit lucky here. He's been kind of a high BABIP. If you're striking out a ton of guys not walking, then that helps. Left on base is kind of high here, so that's look for a little bit of regression, perhaps. But his ERA, he's pitching at a better level than he currently is. So I sure like what he's doing here. So, but the problem is 29 years old, hasn't really had the huge season. Has some pretty nice seasons, but nothing to write home about. And he's got a 12 wins to his name overall. So again, this is more of a trading basket guy. And now isn't on a streak like this, this is not the time to buy those guys. So he's gone from 20 cents up to $2. So hey, good on you if you made that purchase last year and then the sale recently. But this isn't a player that I would chase, wait for, and the regression may not come. Again, what he's doing right now looks fantastic. But that long-term track just isn't quite there for him at this juncture here. So I'm happy to watch him on my fantasy team perform at a high level, but as far as cards, I'm not doing a whole lot with him here. So, all right, let's get into a couple hitters here. We'll start off with Bo Bichette, who was 13 for 33, 2 home runs, 11 runs, 5 RBI for the week. We know all about Bo Bichette, 23 years old, playing at a pretty high level here. So 123 weighted runs created, so not elite, but pretty darn good. 280 average, strikeout rate a little bit elevated from what he did in the minors, and so we'd like to see that come down, walk rate go up. But 13 home runs, good isolated power, and again, this is a guy that's going to be a fixture in that lineup for a long time. All things health and everything like that, going the right direction here. So good exit velocity. So he's got some power, launch angle pretty low actually, relative to what he's done in the past. So he's selectively barreling up and hitting home runs, which is a pretty good skill, and he's hitting over half of his balls hard here. So like Bo Bichette quite a bit. A lot of people do. I'm not alone in that one here. So you can see over in StarStock, His paper cards, he's got a little bit of a floor here at $3 and some upside to $4. Should it creep up above that, then you're looking at $5. But you can see the B's are curling up a little bit, and your risk reward is kind of mixed right now. But it's at such a depressed level here that under 3 you'd want to maybe dump it or whatever. But I think at this level here, this is a pretty interesting spot for Bo Bichette. All right, his teammate Vlad Jr. And we don't have to say a whole lot about him here. He's on a MVP track for the season here. So 9 for 33 home runs, 5 runs, 8 RBI. High level prospect. Finally fulfilling that. Finally, it's been so he had a rough half a year, 1/3 of a season or whatever, just 22 years old. So I love everything about what he's doing here. High walk rate, low strikeout rate, isolated power, BABIP. So those are a little bit high. Maybe he doesn't finish at a 340 level, but if he comes in at a 310 or something like that with 40 home runs, it's an absolute monster. He's already got 4 wins for the season here. I mean, he could finish up at between 8 and 10 wins for the season, which is nuts. That's Mike Trout best season ever level type stuff. So real quick on his StatCast stuff. I mean, elite, his average exit velocity is one part of the equation of what you'd want for a home run. When you look at that barrel rate, you want 95 mile per hour exit velocity, and you want between a 25 and 35% launch angle. And he's got the exit velocity part down here. He doesn't put the ball in the air, so he's selectively hitting home runs, but hitting 55% of his balls hard. I mean, just everything just is clicking for this guy, and it's just going to be a huge season. And his prices are reflecting that, except for the StarStock A's. So for whatever reason, they got dumped. And so when you look at the 10s and the PSA 10s and the 9s, those are, let's see, PSA 10, hovering around that 240 level. The PSA 9 should be around, $80 then or something like that. Let's take that off the thing. PSA 9, so 60. So it was hovering around, so maybe just a little bit cheap. But you can see those B's are really coming up, but the A's are getting clobbered for some reason. So there may be some opportunity there without looking at all the refractors and stuff like that. So. All right, Yordan Alvarez, 9 for 32, 2 home runs, 6 runs, 7 RBI, and just for fun, a stolen base. Dude's a monster here, so you can see what he's doing for the season. 302 average, 380 BABIP, kind of high, so that average may come down just a little bit because he's striking out 26% of the time here. But 143 WAs, runs created. It's an elite season at the plate. The only thing is he's a DH. So, he's going to have to really perform. I mean, it's not enough to be elite. You have to be the best of the best. You have to have prime JD Martinez type stuff here. So see if we can do that. Exit velocity all looks good. Barrel rate barreling up just fine. Hitting the ball plenty hard here. So we'll just try and fly through these here. So you can see that these are his paper, and his StarStock A is at the lowest level it's ever been. Should that be the case? Probably not. So I'm not sure where the love is for Yordan. He's having a terrific season, as are a lot of the Astros. But it's just his card prices stagnated a bit here, and I don't know if that's right here. So Matt Olson, another terrific week here. Talked about him last week, so we'll just touch on him real quick. 9 for 28, 3 home runs, 4 runs, 7 RBI, and this is a very good season for Matt Olson. If he finishes up with 5 or 6 wins, that's a high level all-star level here. So that batting average hovering around 290. I mean, it's all due to the strikeout rate. Again, he's really just changed his approach. He's swinging at fewer balls outside the zone, making more contact with balls inside the zone. Terrific stuff here. So we looked at him last week, and if you can get your hands on Matt Olson, I think you do it. All right, Kyle Tucker. Talked about him a couple weeks ago here, so we'll just do a quick update on what he's doing. But he's having another guy having an excellent season. 11 for 32, 2 home runs, 5 runs, 8 RBI. And you can see for the season, again, he's on pace for a 5-win season here. So borderline elite level weighted runs created, good average. He's really picked that part up over the last few weeks here. Striking out under 20% of the time. This is what he was, when he was a top prospect in the minors. This is what he was doing, and now he's starting to do that as well. In the majors, he's been able to drop his strikeout rate consistently, and now he's in that zone of really, really good hitters. There's no question about it. If that walk rate gets up around 12%, then you're talking about an elite eye at the plate here. But he's got 13 home runs. Let's see, StatCast, so his exit velocities, you had a pretty decent level here. It's not at the higher end of where, you look at what Vlad is doing. If you get up to that 95 exit velocity with a 118 and max exit velocity, you're at an elite, top echelon guy. So he's firmly above average in that area here, barreling up a decent amount of balls and hitting half of them hard here. His plate presence, again, you just by looking at his strikeout rate, you can assume that his plate presence is pretty darn good. And if you do look at that, you see he's swinging at fewer balls. I think he's got fewer than 30% of balls he's swinging outside. The swings are outside the zone. He's making a lot of contact within the zone. So we like Kyle Tucker a lot. He's been a high-level prospect for a long time, and he's really starting to fulfill that. A couple of weeks ago when we looked at him, he had a pretty big week, and those prices really jumped, and we said, you know what, all right, that's too much. If you can get it back in this $4 area, $3 area, you load the boat. And so we're in the $3 area here. So, oh, hey, I made my first StarStock sale here. So, bought a couple B's at 90 cents, and one of them sold for $1.50. So yeah, dinner Mickey D's is on me, everyone. So first sale in StarStock ever. So I've got a lot of sales out there, but I kind of set them at prices. I have my price level set, and I'm just patient and see what happens. And one of them hit here, but yeah, really like it. This is the Chrome at that $3 level here. All right, just a couple more here. I'll get you out of here. All right, Nick Castellanos, 9 for 31, 1 home run, 7 runs, 5 RBI. And real quickly, 14 WAR, which is terrific, but he is 29 years old. So never really had that really breakout season. This year, I mean, this is MVP level stuff right now. So if he finishes up around 8 or 9 WAR, that's an incredible season. But that BABIP is pretty elevated. 418 BABIP, 361 average. Don't think he finishes anywhere near there, but his strikeout rate's below 20%, so it could be a lot better than what he's done, especially than last year. So right in here, if he finishes up around 280, 290, I mean, that's a really, really good season. There's no question about that. But again, 14 wins by age 29 just kind of takes him out of the conversation for that long-term relevance. But I think there's a lot to be done with his cards here, because if he starts, if he's a late bloomer, starts having these really, really terrific seasons over the next 3-4 seasons, there will be interest in his card. But you know better. You know this isn't a long-term hold. You know it's a straightly trading basket. So sitting at $5 here. But I think, again, with some of that regression that's probably in the cards, if you're able to get them closer to $3 and then start playing around with it from there, they may be more interesting. And we'll wrap it up with Ozzie Albies, who is not a player of the week, but just a player that I like, and his prices are at a pretty low level here. And I did a mail day last week and showed off one of his cards that I had got, and said, he's not having the greatest season, but he's having a very good season. So I just wanted to clarify that just a little bit here. And the best part about it, just 24 years old. So really playing at a pretty decent level. Weighted runs created, 100 is kind of your average, 130 and above is your elite. So he's very, very good. The average 256 with a lowish BABIP, and so he's a higher BABIP guy. So I would expect that to rise, with a caveat here. So we'll get to that. 235 isolated power. So he does have 9 home runs for the season. He is striking out less than 20% of the time, but he is selling out for some power here. So maybe he's changed that recently, because that average is starting to go up just a bit here. But you can see that he doesn't have the biggest exit velocity or max exit velocity. He's enough to put it out of the park. There's no question about it. And he's barreling up at an okay rate here. But that launch angle, you can see where that launch angle is. He's just trying to put more balls in the air. So it hasn't really affected his hard hit rate, because that's actually up on the year. So he's I don't know, what is he doing, hitting more doubles, I guess. So let's see if we can see that. So yeah, pretty high amount of doubles, and so yeah, he's selling out for more power. It's working to an extent here. But again, he's got 12 wins above replacement at age 24. That's a really, really nice long-term track. And so you look at some of these other guys, like you look at Vlad. He's 22 years old with 4 wins. And it's like he's a monster season this year will really close that gap, but he still needs to have another 4 or 5 win season. He's pretty good to get to where Ozzie is right now, because Ozzie's been doing it for a while. So I think that's just a player that he's going to be very, very good. And if he's able to do it for a long time, that may be enough. And if you look at his prices here, the A's have just really continued to trend down, and they're making some new lows here. So I mean, maybe even see a buck as long as he stays off people's radar, because everyone likes round numbers. But it's like in here, it's like, my gosh, I mean, how much worse can it get? Yeah, a little bit worse, but I don't think it's justified. So I like Ozzie, and I don't think he's having as bad a season as maybe I made it out to be. But a lot of people are maybe making it out to be. Get it going, Ozzie. It's like, yeah, he's going. All right, he's doing what Ozzie does. So, all right, that's what I got for you. I appreciate your time. Have a great rest of the week. We'll do a couple more videos this week here. But that's what I have for you for now, and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much for tuning in. Bye now.